it looks really pretty afterwards, but we went through a heck of a lot of problems getting set up because there's always things you don't expect. You can plan for months like we did and still have hiccups.
Everything that could go wrong really truthfully went wrong, to the point of our IKEA order getting canceled the day we were supposed to pick it up out of nowhere, to we only had one wall set up we couldn't nail into or screw into. So our whole design that we had planned was supposed to be 3 curtain rods that were hanging all of our tea towels. We only got one adhered to. It was thing after thing after thing. We had to pivot so many times.
Wouldn't it be nice if your art business loved you back? Hi, I'm Stacie Bloomfield. After years of trial and error and late night doodling, I went from being a coffee shop manager to running a vibrant 7-figure art business that I love. And now I'm on a mission to help more artists create an art business that they love too. So I invite you to find a cozy spot, pull out your favorite sketchbook, and listen in. It's never too late to chase your creative dreams. Welcome to the Art Plus Audience podcast.
Hi, everybody. It's Stacie Bloomfield. I'm here with Amanda. Say hi.
Hello. Lovely to meet you all.
So we're recording this podcast episode from the back of our booth. We're in Atlanta. I don't have all my regular equipment, so we're talking into an extra phone so you can hear this audio, fingers crossed. But Amanda, I wanted you to talk to everybody about what it takes to pull off a wholesale trade show. So tell them where we're at and what we're doing.
Well, today is Friday. Yes. So we're on day 3 of market, and it has been months of preparation, starting from marketing materials to, what kind of catalog do we want, to how many postcards are we going to send out? Who are the recipients? How many are going to be pitching to versus repeat customers? And it has been months of planning, and we figured out a way to make it work. And I think it ended up, do you want to talk budget at all?
Yeah, just a second. For some of you who may be listening and you are artists, but you're not really familiar with what happens at these trade shows, this is like a wholesale trade show. Atlanta does it twice a year. They do one in January and one in the summer. There's trade shows all over the world, all over the country, but Atlanta in January is like the place to be. We brought gingerbread products here, but we've also met a bunch of licensing contacts too. And it's like a reunion to meet all sorts of people you've known for many, many years, but it's hard to pull off. I used to do these shows by myself, and then my sister helped me. And this year I had a team, Amanda and Jessica, who you'll meet in a minute, who made this happen. So why don't you talk a little bit about the money of it all, because it's not inexpensive to do this. It's an investment. It's an investment in terms of like advertising. Like that's what I think of it as, like marketing, but it's an investment of time, money for samples. So I'm going to have Amanda quickly run through budget for you.
Mm-hmm. Like Stacie said, it is not an inexpensive trip. So not only do you have airfare if you're going to be doing Uber travels or your car travels, but then you also have the hotel or Airbnb that you're staying at. The booth itself was think around $3,000 to $4,000. That's when it comes with no walls. So then walls, each wall runs about $600 a piece. For the hard walls to be able to hang, then you have all the things you need to buy from IKEA or wherever you're going to have the furniture at. So it's how you're going to display the items that you kind of prepare for. All in all, it's going to be anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 for us to do this show.
And how many square feet is our booth?
It's 100 square feet. And we did get free overhead lights as well, which are not inexpensive. We also got flooring as well. So the booth basically comes naked. It comes and then you get to dress it up however you want to dress it up. Thankfully, the walls did come painted, but then we come and we bring, like I said, we bring the butcher block table that we had. We bring chairs, step ladders, extension cords, all the things that you could need.
So I will show you all some footage of the front. You can check this out on YouTube. I'll give you like a full tour of the booth. But for the podcast episode, I really want to talk about like the meat and potatoes of putting this together, because that's been the biggest question. I also would love for you to share a little bit, because it looks really pretty afterwards, but we went through a heck of a lot of problems getting set up because there's always things you don't expect. You can plan for months like we did and still have hiccups. So you had a list of things that went wrong.
Yes.
Why don't you just summarize a few things that went wrong during setup? Because I'll just say first, I was supposed to fly up to help them set up, and I got really sick and I couldn't fly. So I had to delay my flight by 2 days. And these poor girls had to deal with so much. So I'm going to hand it right back.
It really started off the night we went to Chipotle, and Chipotle was out of everything. We should have known by then. But no, everything that could go wrong really truthfully went wrong, to the point of our IKEA order getting canceled the day we were supposed to pick it up out of nowhere, to we only had one wall set up the day of setup, to our Airbnb had a gas leak and we had to switch to a hotel, to our car rental car not being able to unlock. So now we had to shift from being able to go and drive ourselves everywhere and pack, all of our things, to now Ubering literally everywhere because our Airbnb wasn't walking distance. So all of that happened to, we had food delivered and there was no utensils. So we're eating primally with our hands. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think, the walls that we got, we couldn't nail into or screw into. So our whole design that we had planned was supposed to be 3 curtain rods that were hanging all of our tea towels. We only got one adhered to. I think I broke 4 nails trying to hammer it in, and I'm not a weak girl, I can hammer things. So it was thing after thing after thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything other major, but we had to pivot so many times. Thankfully, there is an IKEA in Atlanta, and what we were able to do is we were able to walk IKEA and get ideas of what would work, knowing that we might not have walls. We came in here and said, okay, there's 2 walls that are missing that we were meant to hang things on. How can we pivot this if they can't get the wall set up? So it's been a lot of sweet talking. It's been a lot of meeting everyone down at the docks and everywhere else. And yeah, I think that's like all the major hiccups.
I mean, there's probably more if we were to really dig into it. But the truth is they got through it. They were here at the convention center till what? Almost 11?
It was 11:30.
11:30 at night. I mean, which is way later than you're supposed to be. And then they had to be back here 8 a.m. the next day? 8 a.m. to finish setting up, because I came rolling in with my big Mama Jamma suitcase. It's enormous, guys. And I brought all these samples because, that's another thing. Some samples didn't show up on time that we shipped here. And then something else we ordered from Amazon arrived late. And then another thing from Amazon arrived ripped open.
That was a stapler.
It was just a stapler, but a stapler.
Someone
took our stapler. So you have that kind of energy going into a show, and you just hope, you're like, okay, all this stuff happened. I believe that something really good is going to happen from the show. It could be one good conversation. It could be a buyer you didn't expect. It could be a relationship that you're starting to build. I talk about this all the time. There's people I've met at shows that years later we work with for licensing, all sorts of opportunities. So people who go to shows, you need to think of it as leveraging every opportunity. I have a little brand book in here in case there's licensing opportunities that we can hand out. We brought extra product just to put out and see if people responded to it. And then as soon as we put it out, people are like, yes, I like this. So you can test ideas. And I think the main thing is people want to touch the product.
Yes.
People want to touch it.
They want a tactile experience.
They do, because selling online is so limiting. And so there's all these clients that we're getting to find who shop the shows and not just online at fair market. So it's a huge opportunity for us. And also we don't get to see each other as a team very often because everyone's pretty much remote, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I will say that for our customers, I think it's been really important to be able to touch and feel products, especially our new products that are maybe a little bit of a higher price point than what our audience is used to. So our table runners, our cloth napkins, people have responded really, really well to them because they're able to touch and feel the quality and see them in person versus just seeing them virtually. You just never know what you're going to get online. And so it's been really helpful for people to be able to touch and feel them.
Last thing I'll say before I'm going to tap Amanda out, we're going to tap Jessica in, who helps with all of this too. And she does manufacturing with us and licensing, is I haven't been able to go to a show since 2020. And it was really remarkable how many people know the Gingerbread brand now, because we're 15 years old, but 5 years is a long time to grow. We've grown a lot in 5 years. And there's people walking by and they're like, oh, I love your towels. I love your designs. I love your Instagram. People hugging us, people hugging my team. And I miss that feeling because we don't get that much anymore because everyone's chronically online. But all that is to say is it's a real treat. And we're trying to figure out if we're going to keep doing more shows, right?
Yeah. It's been super invigorating to get to meet all these people that I have been messaging on Fair or directly, of getting to actually meet them in person, or, create a face with the people that you're getting to be with. And people just love Stacie. They come to meet, they come to see her.
Oh gosh. Well, that's really kind. I'm going to switch it over to Jessica. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Thanks, Stacie.
Bye. So I'm here with Jessica Hobbs. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Jessica, it's pretty great because Jessica works with Gingerbread with product development and helping with collaborations and licensing. But I've known Jessica for a few years through the Creative Powerhouse Society, which is a membership I run. But Jessica is been with us for what, a year?
Yeah, year and a half.
Year and a half? Yeah. So Jessica, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your involvement with market and prep and product development for the show?
Sure. So I have been doing markets for quite a few years from both the buyer side and the exhibitor side. So walking around and shopping, looking for products for brands, but also setting up showrooms, merchandising the items, planning out where we're going to put things, all that goes into the back end, which, as we have learned here, there's a lot of little details to manage. So I was happy to help with the Gingerbread booth that we're doing. We are in the temporaries. So that was also a different experience than what I've done before in showrooms. So we've had a blast with it.
Yeah. So our best selling products are tea towels, but we are trying to expand into more kitchen and homewares, right?
Yes.
So can you tell a little bit about what our strategy has been going into like the new products that are debuting here for us?
Yes. So as Stacie said, our tea towels being our best selling product. So of course, we're looking at what's working in tea towels, where we feel like we need to add more SKUs. Then as we want to expand into tabletop, and if we are in the tabletop area of market, so we definitely wanted to capitalize on that. So we introduced runners and we picked some styles that coordinate well, but also offer our customers some different designs. So, birds are very popular with our audience. So we wanted to have a bird. We love a butterfly. So we have a butterfly style. So we picked something that's going to appeal to different shops, but they still merchandise very well together. And, there are always things that maybe don't make the cut. So we start with, 5 or 6 different styles and then narrow that down as we get samples and determine what's going to be the best fit for our audience. Mm-hmm. So we started with runners, and then we also have flour sack napkins. And that is something we know our audience loves, the flour sack tea towels. So we brought that same fabric over to the napkins and thought about how can we make this different than the tea towels, but still something that a store will want to purchase as well. And then we thought about fabrics too. So a table runner, you don't want wrinkles in it. You want it to look nice on your table. So we went with a thicker fabric cotton. So those are just some of the considerations as we were developing the product for market.
Yeah. And what's interesting is we're in a transitional phase. And I think every business that's been around for a while, you're going to have years where like your best sellers are one thing. And it's not so much that trends change, but buyers' interest changes because it's their job to keep their customers like engaged. And so we want to keep our buyers engaged. So we're never deviating from like what our core is at Gingerbread. But when you go to market like this and you see other booths and you see what's trending in other areas. Like right now, I'm seeing so much nautical and I'm seeing so much like blue herons. And we're thinking like, well, it doesn't make sense for Gingerbread to expand maybe in the future into some other design categories aside from just floral, still maybe in our color palette, but like do it the Gingerbread way. And so you walk these shows, not just like to meet people and hopefully get purchase orders, but to stay like engaged with what's happening. Because if you're online, you're really only seeing like a little bit of what's happening, right?
Yeah, that's one of the highlights from this show is the customers that we've worked with, whether they've placed an order or they haven't yet, they've had so much great feedback for us and they will let you know what they're looking for. So we've loved that because we've had a lot of requests for nautical. So not only are we seeing that, but then they'll ask for, a nautical theme, tea towel, or a specific flower. We've had a lot of garden centers come and they're looking for specific flowers or colors.
Peppers. Someone has a Tabasco business or something, or a hot sauce. So they're like, do you do peppers? We're like, maybe someday.
And this will definitely guide a lot of our product development considerations. So it's something that we're going to be meeting on when we get back into the studio and just talk about if those are things that we want to add to the line and we see that being a fit for our collection.
Yep. So now it's just a matter of finishing up market and then deciding which market we want to do next, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, right now we're going to go back and just make sure that we have a meeting talking about how this went, things that we can do differently for next time, things that worked for this time. And we're already starting our planning for another one. So we're excited to keep doing these shows.
I really want to keep doing them. I have a lot of fun. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for taking a few minutes. I know you got to get back to the booth.
Yes.
So I'll see you later.
Thank you.
And that's it for this little mini, what do you want to call this? Atlanta Market podcast episode. I hope that it was informative and feel free to email us or drop a comment underneath the blog post with the show notes with any questions you have. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, could you do me a favor? Could you subscribe to this podcast and then share it with one of your best art friends? I'd really appreciate it. And then head on over to Instagram and follow me at the Leverage Your Art account. And you can keep up with all of our future episodes. Thank you so much for your support. It means everything to have you here listening and learning. Bye.